Clashers, and welcome back. Let's take a look at how farming has changed in 2022. So first of all, if you're not familiar with what farming is in Clash of Clans, it's just gathering resources through multiplayer battles. Now, we had an update recently in Clash of Clans that has completely changed farming. And what they did is they took away the cost of making your armies so you can build troops, spells, siege machines without any cost whatsoever. So let's go ahead and jump into some examples of the best ways to get resources after this big update. Okay, so I'm going to go over 5 different methods, not necessarily in any particular order, although I will save what I think is the best option for last. I will put chapters in if you want to skip around, but you're going to miss out on all the good stuff in the middle if you do that. But I mean, to each their own. If you want to skip ahead, no one's looking. Go ahead. But anyway, here at number 5, we're going to take a look at kind of a general idea. So this isn't going to be any specific army, but if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time in the day and you don't want to sit there and do lots and lots of attacks to farm, I think the best option for farming is just to take whatever 3-star army that you use in war, take that and use it in multiplayer battles. It's good for practice, and it's good for pushing up in trophies, which is going to get you a better loot bonus. Now, when you're using a heavy army, basically a full 3-star strategy, that's what you're going for, is you want to push up in trophies, you want to get the higher loot bonus, and then you're getting more loot per attack. You don't have to do as many attacks per day. And if you're Town Hall 14, I highly recommend going into Legends League. You don't even have to do all 8 attacks in a day if you don't have the time for it, but you're going to get better loot, you're going to get better loot bonus per attack. So let's go ahead and do one of those attacks really quickly, and then we'll move on to the next example. So the loot up here in Legends League is pretty much standard, and this is a familiar base. I've seen this plenty of times before. So let's go ahead, and I do believe that the loot actually goes up the higher you go in Legends League, but I like to hang out down in lower Legends League and just do my hits here. But we're going to go ahead and start off with this Blizzard here. Let's get this going. And I'll probably speed some of this up a little bit just to move this video along, but here we go with the Blizzard. I probably sent that blimp in just a little bit later than I needed to, but it's going to work out here. Here we go. The Blizzard is in. I do hope they can get that Town Hall down. Oh, they're trying to run out of my invis area. We got the Eagle. We got one Wizard on the Town Hall. And there we go. So we'll have the Eagle and the Town Hall secured. Beautiful. The rest of this is going to be easy as long as I don't time fail. So let's start the King here. Pop King's ability, get the RC in to help. Wall breakers aren't going to be as useful here. Mainly trying to get the heroes out of the way and hopefully some expos. Didn't really want the RC going that direction, but that's alright. It's not the end of the world. We're going to start the Lalo from the bottom side. And hopefully keep this queen alive. Pop her ability here. Go ahead and pop the warden as well and get these balloons moving. Rescatter. One more. There we go. That is a triple, and we will see after this attack how big the loot bonus is for me. Let me get the town to pop. There we go, beautiful. Swag poison. Don't need it. And there we go. Full 3-star strategy. We got quite a bit of loot. Probably not as much loot as we might see in some of the other attacks, but we also get the loot bonus on top of it, which almost doubles how much loot we get. Now, if you're not able to do a lot of attacks, this is a nice way. Plus, the other benefit of being in Legends League, of course, you're not losing any resources on defense. So that kind of helps out quite a bit as well. So let's jump into the next one. So while that previous approach isn't really a specific army, it is generally what you're going to do for upper trophy level farming. Now, for the rest of these examples, they're going to be more specific on the army, but they're going to be for mid to lower trophy levels. Now, I'm not going to say exactly what trophy levels because it's going to vary quite a bit based on your Town Hall level and where you want to be in trophies. What you want your trophy level to be at is also going to vary quite a bit by your Town Hall level. Also by which army you're using. I mean, naturally, as you use these armies, you're going to either drop down or go up in levels. And if you find yourself going to a level you don't want to be at, just change up your army to where you're either losing or gaining trophies until you're back to where you want to be. So this 4th example is going to be mass witches, or even witches and bowlers if you want to throw some of those into the mix. Now, this is kind of a gray area between just a farming army and a regular 3-star strategy. If you're below Town Hall 14, this might be just in the category of a full 3-star strategy. At Town Hall 14, though, this is not really the case. You're really just spamming witches to get some resources. And the reason witches are a good choice is because they can hit the base pretty hard. You can go in on one side and get most of the resources. If you're trying to dive in for some collectors, this is a great option. Now, for all of these next 4 examples, I use either Siege Barracks or Flame Flinger. So the Siege Barracks helps funnel. The Flame Flinger can take out some defenses on the edge. It can also help funnel. It can even open up some walls. And we'll see both of those examples throughout this. I also request for 5 Valkyries and a Hog Rider, Rage, and a Poison, but I don't worry too much. When you're doing any of these armies for the next 4 groups, you're trying to do lots of attacks in a day, so you're not sitting around waiting for troops. You're going to attack, attack, attack. So you don't really need a CC. And I think only one of these examples I'll have any CC troops. But with all that out of the way, let's take a look at some witch examples and we can move on. Alright, so this is the first witch example. We'll go ahead and put it on 4x. We don't want to spend too much time. In this one, you see I do use the Flame Flinger. I'm going to let it work a little bit. I kind of wasted that first witch. Put in another one. She's going to help set the funnel on the edge there. And here we go. Actually, this is kind of killing my iPad here. There we go. We'll put it on 2x. We're not necessarily going to watch the whole thing, but you can see I open up the core with the Quakes. You can see the spell comp that I've got there, and we're pushing all the way through. The witches are going to actually be able to push through this base for the triple. So they're going to continue to make their way through. Flame Flinger on the left side still going. It's got no troops in it. Actually, this may be the one example that has troops. Either way, the Flame Flinger on its own getting quite a bit of value. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. We'll put it back on 4x just so we can see at the end how much loot was collected. And there we have it. Decent little haul here. Another thing I'm going to add is in these examples, I'm pretty much always going for big Dark Elixir gains. If you don't need Dark Elixir, you don't need to target Dark Elixir. You can go more for the Gold or Elixir. Usually if you're going for Gold or Elixir, you're going for both Gold and Elixir. But yeah, that's why you might see numbers a bit on the low end for my Golden Elixir, because I'm trying to go for the Dark Elixir here. This is the second Witch Army. Now, you're not always going to smash bases like this. I just happen to be picking on easier bases. But usually if you're farming, you're only going to get like 50 to 70% of the base if it's a maxed out base. But you can also just not go for the maxed out bases, go for the easier targets, and you're probably going to triple more often than not. So we're going to speed this one up as well. This time I didn't go straight witches. I brought some bowlers and ice golems as well. I just kind of wanted to see. It's pretty much the same idea. They smash right down through the middle of the base. And this will also end up being a triple. They get all the resources, of course. And there we go. Bowlers, witches, smashing through. They did all die out by the end, but the hero's able to clean it up. Now that's another thing about these witch armies. You don't need to have your heroes up. If your heroes are upgrading, this is a good option. Still going to be strong. Still going to hit the base hard. And yeah, you're still going to be able to get the loot that you're after. Alright, number 3, we've got mass miners. Now you can do mass miners like this, or you could do a bit of a queen charge miners, whatever you prefer. That's the thing about farming. You can just do whatever you want, but miners are a very good farming troop. They've been used for farming basically since they've been put into the game. And what I like to do for these guys, I just try to set a funnel on either side. And if you don't have heroes or siege machine, just use miners to set a funnel. You got a lot of them. Even if you're not Town Hall 14, like I am, I've got 50 of them. You might have a little bit less, but you're still going to have a lot of miners regardless. But the miners, kind of the same thing. Your goal is to just punch into the base and get some of those resources from the middle. And you're usually going to be able to get your star bonus as well, because more often than not, you're going to win the attack. So we will speed this up. Another thing to notice is I'm carrying lightning spells. I don't think I mentioned this yet, but there's something about lightning spells which is really nice. And if you have 3 of them, you can zap down a Dark Elixir drill if you happen to miss one on the map. So here's another example with the miners. You can see I'm going for the Dark Elixir. Started the queen on the top side. She got that elixir storage. Siege barracks on the left. Didn't really get a lot of value there. I probably could have placed that better or switched to a flame flinger for more value. But we also had the king and the RC on the bottom side. I used the zaps on this one just to take out the Inferno Tower. Actually, I made it weak. Wasn't quite able to take it out. But that's because there weren't really... The drills weren't full, so it wasn't worth it to zap them. But that is that attack. Let's move on to the next army. Coming in at the number 2 spot are the super archers. Now this one's quite a bit of fun to use, and they're good for farming because they shoot through multiple layers of the base. This base happened to have the collectors right on the outside, but if, for example, these collectors were on the inside where these defenses are, you would still be able to hit them with the super archers from the outside. So here we go, we're setting a bit of a funnel. So these ones you can deploy in a couple of different ways. In this example, I'm just going to put them all on one side, basically, and send them in from the right. But you can also kind of spread them out around the outside of the base, you know, kind of circle the base and then shoot into it that way. That probably would have been a better option on this base, honestly, because you can see the resources are all spread out around the outside. But I seen the Dark Elixir there, and that's what I was going for. So I'm going to send in a big group of them here. A wall breaker or two probably would not have been a bad idea, because I had a bunch of them just walk to that open corner, and then they took the warden with them. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but I'm still able to get in there and get that Dark Elixir. Not just that, but these super archers are able to shoot through and get a little bit extra on the back end. And let me go ahead and put this on 4x. Forgot to speed it up a little bit. We got one more example to look at before we move on to the best farming army. And here we go, another big haul for Dark Elixir. And again with the super archers. So let's go ahead and speed this one up. I do bring slightly different spells. The spells don't really matter a whole lot. I might even switch them up from what's here. But I like to do the quad quakes just to open the wall. And that lets the archers get in even a little bit deeper. So they're going to push through this first couple of layers. Unfortunately, a bunch of them walked to the outside up here. But they're still going around. They're still able to get damage on this storage and get some of that resource. And I'm able to get the Dark Elixir that I was after here. So as you see, I got the 8,000 Dark Elixir. A decent haul for Elixir and Gold. And again, this is an attack that you can use back to back to back. And here we go. This is, in my opinion, the best farming army to use right now. If you have the time to do lots of attacks every day, you can farm up your base very quickly. Now, this is Sneaky Goblins, and as you see, I'm just using the goblins to pick off the full collectors around the outside. And this base actually has open walls. I can send them into the storages as well. So this was a really good base for Sneaky Goblins. And you see I've got 9 lightning spells. You don't need to use any spells, but if you happen to miss a Dark Elixir drill, say there was like a Dark Elixir drill all the way in the core of the base, I don't have to try and use the goblins to get in there or the heroes. I can just zap it out. 3 zaps for a Dark Elixir drill will take it out and you'll get all the resources from it. So let's go ahead and speed this one up a bit more, and you'll see that I'm able to get all the resources here, basically just picking up all of the collectors from the outside. And I don't remember exactly how much loot I got here. Actually, you can see it on the right side. So I got just under 10,000 Dark Elixir, and then a good little chunk of gold and elixir. So let's go ahead and back out of here, and we can move on to the last replay of this video. And here we have the last replay of this video. I was able to find a whale of a base here. As you can see, 1.7 million elixir, almost 1.5 million gold, and almost 13,000 Dark Elixir. And we will see here just how much of this I'm able to get. Once again, we got 100 Sneaky Goblins, we got the Flame Flinger. I think we do end up using the heroes a bit on this one. So yeah, we're going to start off with the King and the Flinger, and they're going in from the bottom side. I was trying to go ahead and get that multi out of the way because I was already planning on going in for that Dark Elixir storage. But while the King and the Flame Flinger are working, I'm picking off the buildings around the outside with the goblins. Now once the ones on the outside are gone, I can try to go a little bit deeper. As you can see, all these walls are open, so I'm still able to go in, get the storages, and get the collectors. So generally on the outside, you just need to send 1 goblin per collector, and that's enough to get it taken down. If they have to run for a little bit, it might take a little bit more, just because as they run, they're running out of time of being invisible. So that's the only issue there. But here we go. Same thing for the storages. Usually you can get it taken down with 3, but if they're being healed up by the builders or if they're deeper in the base, it's going to take more. But here we go. I got the Queen coming in with the Warden. I didn't even use all the Sneaky Goblins. I've still got 59 left. And what that lets me do is jump straight into the next attack. I've still got a bunch of spells. Still got a bunch of Sneaky Goblins. I don't have to sit around and wait for troops to cook. And that's what's so great about the Sneaky Goblins. And as you can see here, I didn't even get all the resources. So there was still some left on the base, but I managed to pick up a ton anyway. And there we have it, my top 5 farming armies for 2022. Let me know what you guys are using for farming down in the comments below. And if you liked any of these, let me know if you're using them as well. If you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. And if you found this at all helpful, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will see you all next time.